Intellectually petty radio on your stereo. Don't compare us to anything, this a different scenario. We break records while we pushing the culture forward. Great music and big vibes right in that order. Intellectually petty radio on the stereo. Don't compare us to anything, this a different scenario. We break records while we pushing the culture forward. Great music and big vibes right in that order.
And you are now tuned into another episode of Intellectually Petty Radio, brought to you in concert with Beautiful Machine Magazine, as well as the mighty Nerd DJs Radio Network. Y'all already know, man, minute after minute, second after second, week after week, we only rock with legends around here, and today is absolutely no exception. We have a serial businessman, engineer, philanthropist, film producer, and much, much more, Mr. Tell Ganesan. How you doing, sir?
Excellent job. Excellent.
All right, thank you. Well, how's your family?
Doing well.
That's good.
Doing
I'm glad.
really well. Thanks for asking.
Oh, no problem. What's it like waking up and not having to worry about money?
That's the ultimate freedom.
Oh my God. What was it like did you come from money in India?
No, what's your question again? One more time.
Were you was your family wealthy in India?
No, I think I come from a middle class family jobs.
Okay.
That's my background.
And you've been here what, about 35 years?
Yes.
At what point did you start thinking about coming to America?
I think it was there when I was a kid. I think that was instilled by my mom, even probably when I was even 2 years old. And she used to point a plane and then tell her, this after I grow up, that's where I'm going to go in a plane and start feeding food, outside. Back in India, it's a tropical place. Most of the time we eat food outside in the open weather, much like Miami.
I've never been to India.
Think of Houston. Think of Houston, muggy, rainy. That's the weather I come from.
For the pictures I've seen, very crowded but very beautiful.
Yes.
What do you miss most?
I think India, it's unity and diversity. It's a lot of contrast, a lot of languages, different kind of attire people wear, and different kind of food people eat. Almost from state to state, it changes.
Okay, so you get to the States. You're already an engineer, correct?
No, I think I finished my undergraduate in India, and then I came here for my master's degree. So passion for cars brought me to Detroit. And then I went to Wayne State University, Detroit, and finished my master's. And then I went to Chrysler and started my job there.
Okay. What specific engineering? Mechanical?
Yeah, mechanical engineering.
Okay. Man, yo, a friend of mine that I grew up with ended up being an engineer, and I remember looking at one of his books in his math book in college, and it had no numbers in it. That made absolutely no sense to me. Everything in this was I'm sorry, long story, but okay. So you started Chrysler. At what point do you decide I want to do my own thing and I want to start my own business?
Yeah. So probably 12 years into Chrysler, it started itching me, and that's when I left Chrysler. And what happened, Jobs, was every 4 years, the auto companies make a new model, right? And then every 4 years, management changes, this and that. And then I always found that your future is dependent on every 4 years, and then much like the managers And if you're not part of the clique, you're not going anywhere. And that's one thing I learned working in a bigger corporation. Second, the entrepreneurial bug was within me. And then after I got to a point, the job itself was very boring to me. In other words, I can do the 8-hour job in 2 hours, and then remaining 6 hours, I have to twiddle my thumb. I said, I can't stay like this. I have to get out. And so I did.
And what was your first company?
The first company is Skype. After I left Chrysler, so I started a company called Vision Tech Solutions, and then I bought a company called RSB, and then I bought a company called 3D Solutions, and then after some time, I put them all together and called it Skype.
And what specifically does that company do?
So the company is into IT and engineering services. We do projects, we do products for all these major companies. Stellantis now. Previously, it was Chrysler, Ford, Mercedes-Benz Financial Services, Blue Cross Blue Shield, almost any marquee company that you can think of. So we service top probably 25, 30 companies in the Fortune 500.
Biggest lesson you learned early on?
In what area?
In your after you started your company?
After I started the company, I realized, oh God, I should have left earlier. Why did I wait for so long? Why did it took 12 years for me to have that aha moment? Why it did not come in the first 4 years? That's what I realized, because as you know, Jobs, once the entrepreneurship, the business is working, you don't want it to waste time. Yeah, that's what I realized. That was the biggest mistake. I didn't leave them soon enough.
That's how much. If you could go back and do it, how early would you leave?
I think I would leave even now. I'm looking at 2025, right? Jobs. I would say, what if I had known what I know back then, I wouldn't have even worked for anybody. Right? As soon as I got out of the college, that to me, that's the best time to take a risk. You're single, you're not attached to the family. All you need is a place to stay and work on your idea. And before you get married, you get children, this and that. You pretty much got the thing going. And then what happens is, when you get into the family, then you have to be responsible for other people in the family, and things go wrong. You're not only impacting your life, you're impacting several other human beings in the process. To me, if I were to start all over again, I will start that right when I was in my dorms, and even start selling backpack and T-shirts and to the in the dorm, and start your entrepreneurial venture right then and there. And then as you come out of the college, get into technology, apps, this and that, whatever. And why wait for so many years to, because there is nothing like doing it. You learn by doing it. You don't learn by studying it.
Yeah.
So that's why I tell a lot of people, I don't want you guys to be a paper tiger reading YouTube and manual, this and that. Don't get me wrong. I'm not downplaying going to school, but I'm saying in an entrepreneurial world, it's all about doing, not so much about studying. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because of that, the sooner you start doing, the better off you are, is the biggest lesson I learned.
School doesn't teach you nuances of business.
No, not at all.
Definitely
The
does.
two,
Go
huh?
ahead.
No, not at all. I mean, the two important thing is actually three things that they don't teach. One, financial literacy, right? And your mental well-being. And third, business. Actually start running a business, they don't teach at all. They kind of teach in a very theoretical sense, but as soon as you come out of it, you put them people into the real world, they are totally clueless. Again, then you talk about on-the-job training. You got to get somebody have to mentor you. Then ask question, what the heck did you do at the school then?
So how did you go about when you first started your first company? How did you go about picking the initial people to work with you?
I mean, you start with the people that you know. So when I started, my brother was working at the time, and he also had some entrepreneurial bug, and so him and I started it, and so I came out first. So you just want to make sure the big brother is okay, and the little brother followed suit, making sure that putting his toes into the water to check if it is cold, hot, whatnot. And then once he figured out that I was able to go inside the water and swim, that's when he decided, okay, I'm going to jump into. And then you start with that, and then you start looking for people. But initially, jobs, as you know, when you're a new kid on the block, nobody wants to take the risk with you,
Yeah.
right? I'm not sure this guy should have been at Chrysler. He got a paycheck. What the heck he's doing is going to the street. And again, what if things go wrong? We have a lot of societal conditioning, right? People tell you 100 reasons why you would fail, but all you need is one reason to succeed, to win. And nobody teaches that.
So who was your mentor?
So, excellent question, Jobs. I look at many mentors. Some of them are alive, some of them are dead, and some of them I have not met, right? Some of them are virtual. And so, every dimension that I want to improve upon, uh, I look at a lot of different people. For example, I study Bill Clinton for his approachability, for his people skill, but I don't look at him on the other Monica Lewinsky stuff, okay? So just to be clear, just to be clear, and and then and then Elon Musk for his intensity, for his ability to cross multiple industries in 2 decades, that I study a lot. So in that way, I see him as a mentor in that specific window, not the brash type, all the other things that he does. That I leave it to him. Also, Bill Gates is one of them. Also, Richard Branson, the Virgin airline. So I see them as my mentors virtually.
Okay.
Then there was a mentor that I had called Frank Stella. He passed away about 10 years ago, 15 years ago. He used to be in Detroit. I mean, he used to live in such a small place and had an office. But what I learned from him is that he would tell me that 5 days he works for himself, sixth day he works for other people. So on that day, he would be open. Anybody can go to his office, seek help. He would lift the phone and make phone calls to people, give them connections, and et cetera, et cetera. He's not giving money, but he's sharing knowledge and connectivity and helping entrepreneurs. And so he was my mentor at the time. And what I realized by him doing that, he had access to President Bush at that time. He had access to Pope and he was like 89 or 90 years old. So I learned a lot from him, in the last 4 years he was alive, what to do. And he was also one of my board member of my company. And that's what I learned from him, how to navigate. And that is what I learned from him, to give back, because, he dedicated one day for others.
How do you balance morality versus success?
Excellent question. The problem with that is very hard to accomplish in a very competitive world like that. And so when somebody is hell-bent on success, they lose morality. And when you keep on focusing on morality, sometimes achieving success may be, dodging you. But I think regardless, one should aspire for success without compromising morality. Right. So if whatever is within my control, I will exercise that. Outside of my control, what others do, it's outside my control. But I think it's not more about success. How do you define success? Success when you're alive, or success when you're gone, or what you leave behind. So if you apply that scale, one has to be very careful with the morality question issue, and not get into that, because then your legacy will be tainted. Like, for example, I'm talking about Frank Stella.
I think somebody must be calling you because I can't hear you right now. So somebody must be calling you or something. That's usually what it is. Now you muted yourself. You just unmute yourself.
You hear me now?
I do.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Yeah.
No, it happens.
Yeah, so that's what is happening, Job. So it's a very tricky question, but I think if one wants to focus long term, there should not be any compromise on the morality. Somebody is looking for a short term gain, then yeah, you do whatever you want to do. Then you compromise on morality. But my take on it is very simple. I'm going for the long game, and I don't want to compromise on morality at the expense of you know what I mean? Yeah.
How do you jump from the technology aspect to doing movies?
Good question. So when I got into film business, I didn't have any background in film business, except like anybody else, you go and watch a movie. But what I brought to the film business when I started was the same process that I learned from Chrysler, right? So in a car making, we have three different processes, pre-production, production, and post-production. Before the car is designed, we design them on paper. Then we build a car. Then we do the trim chassis final, put them through, assemble the car, sales and marketing, dealership, distribute, people buy the car. Film is no different. And instead of pre-production on the paper, we have script. And then we go into production and post-production. I'm simplifying a complex business, but what I'm saying is that once we understand the simplicity of these processes and having that, so all I brought to the film biz is structure, which I had from Chrysler, bigger corporation, process, and discipline, which most of the creatives lack, right? Because they're all freewheeling and freestyling.
They're
And
artists.
yeah, because they're artists, right? So I bring in the structure, process, and discipline. So from day one, I started adding value to the whole thing. And then, I'm a problem solver. I saw a lot of problems at Chrysler. So I ended up becoming a problem solver in the film biz. Then from a problem solver, I became a motivational guy. From motivational, I became an inspirational guy. Then I became a therapist. Then I became a psychologist. Then I became a psychiatrist to all the people that were in the film biz. I said, guys, you changed my role. What the heck is going on here? And in the process jobs, I learned everything reverse, because working at Chrysler, all we do is reverse engineer, right? Any car that we need to build, we'll buy a car, any other car, we completely dismantle them all the way to the nuts and bolt, put them together, and figured out what these guys have done. And similarly, you do a reverse engineering, and then I was able to reverse engineering all these guys. So from one movie to another movie, I kept learning. The first guy, I learned how to do. I did about 5 films, how to do a scouting, location scouting. Second guy was good in project managing. Third guy was good in script. Fourth guy was good in PR. Fifth guy, was good in lighting and camera work and overall. So I learned all these guys from all of them. And then all of a sudden, now I can even do whatever I need to do on the movie side. Again, remember, I told you earlier, it's all about doing. Is when you do, you learn.
Yeah. Is it a passion or is it a business decision?
I think it was passion, because it's every 10 years I keep changing my area of focus jobs to keep myself going. First 10 years, let's say I work for somebody. Another 10 years, let's say I work for, the entrepreneurship, plus or minus. And the third is really I wanted to do something. So I got in there more like a hobby. And then I'm still turning them into a business. Yes.
When did your son come to you and say, Dad, I want to do music?
So he did, actually, he did. And then he said he wanted to do hip hop. At that time I didn't even know what hip hop was, and I was not, I was in a very different world. And I told him, guys, you are born to Indian parents, and we don't know anything about hip hop. Most of the Indian Americans are known for being a doctor, engineer, lawyer, real estate guys, and maybe motel owners. That's what you should be doing. Maybe become like a doctor like your mom. But then he wanted to go in there. I thought it's like, maybe it's a hobby or something. I said, okay, could try it up. And then he kept saying, I wanted to do this, I wanted to do that. So, and then I realized, instead of me trying to force upon my will on him, my wishes on him, I said, okay. I had him checked out, and he had all the skills and talent to do it. Then I, started supporting him and putting him through whatever he needs to do in his own journey. So yeah, so when he said that, I was shocked, in a sense, like, how could he take that into a career? I thought it's more like a hobby.
I'm a nurse by trade, so I've worked with quite a few Indian nurses over the years, and they are really like you say, it's the culture is engineer, lawyer, doctor,
Yes,
and anything
nothing
outside
else,
of that is your
nothing
failure.
else.
The fact that you supported him is extremely honorable.
Thank you, Jobs.
No, no, thank you. I really like that. I know that that's a big deal. So how is he viewed back home? Like the whole, matter of fact, not just him musically, but the whole entertainment industry that you guys got going on.
No, I think if you look at the industry as a film, this and that, they believe, wow, people, he's coming from this part of the world, and he's doing well in the U.S. and he's doing well in the Hollywood. He's well doing in the hip hop. So for them, they see us as a trailblazer. We are breaking barriers, so any other Indian American can enter into the field with confidence, much like what they were doing in being a doctor, engineer, nurse, or a lawyer. You know what I mean? So if we can do it, they can too, and I can too. That's really is how they are seeing it in from that lens. As you said, they are so scared to get into other areas, right? So there used to be a joke where most of the Indian students, when they come from India, they follow the same pattern: apartment to the department where they go and study, and then apart department to the advisor, where the who and then advisor to the Budweiser, and then it's over. And so somebody have to break the cycle, and
Excuse me.
so similarly, they follow the path. Doctor, engineer, oh my god, this guy is doing crazy stuff. This guy, he's gonna go to the street. This guy's, even if the son is not, understanding what happened to the dad and mom, they should be counsel him. And then couple people, and I'm just sharing some joke. What's your son doing? I said, music. Yeah, I got it. But what is he doing for his child? I just told you. I just told you he's doing music. No, what is he actually doing? I just told you that's what he's doing.
Yeah, what's
So
he doing
that
for
thought
real?
is not even in their head. When I say music, that's really a hobby, and they don't even consider that as a mainstream profession, coming from the Indian American community, especially in the U.S. jobs. Maybe people in India, they do that. Don't get me wrong; a lot of people are getting into that, but here we they follow a stereotype, stereotypical path.
Yeah. I mean, but over in India, Bollywood is like a big deal.
Yes, yes,
So I think that's probably more. It's more tangible, and they can see it more readily.
yes.
I ask everybody this question, totally unrelated to anything, but you're sitting on a park bench, and God sits down next to you, and says you can ask him or her one question, what would it be?
I would say, thank you, God. Thank you for giving such a wonderful life. Um, I'm so grateful.
No question, but that would you. Okay.
I would ask, if I were to ask a question, I would ask, what was the purpose of you creating me? So I want to know from the creator what my actual purpose from a creator's perspective.
Oh, I think you already know
Why
that.
was I brought to this planet Earth?
I think
That
you
would be
already
my.
know that. You are living your purpose. At least from the outside looking in. Like
Yes, outside looking in, yes, but from a creator standpoint, to make sure that I'm aligned with the purpose in which I was created. If I'm not going into my own purpose, of course, whatever I'm doing, I'm having my own defined purpose. Is that the purpose of the creator as well?
okay.
What if the creator had something else in mind?
That would be interesting.
That's what I wanted to know.
Is there a movie out there that you want to make you just haven't been able to yet?
No, there are a couple movies. There is a movie that I'm going to make, uh, and then there is a movie that I wanted to make. Actually, it is a story about my story in dealing with my son within the hip hop landscape, and without knowing a lot of understanding of the culture, what kind of blunders or bloopers that I made very early on. I wanted to make such a comedic movies. I already have a script, but I've not put them together. Like from a Indian American cultural perspective versus the rules of the hip hop community, if you will, and then what they are saying and how am I interpreting and what is the point of view. Uh, uh, Eventually, I got it, but as I was going through it, there is a lot of humorous moments in there. And when I look at it, Bob, this should become a movie, and this will be a blockbuster hit comedy movie because there are a lot of things that I did which is very comedic in nature.
Give us one thing you consider a blunder that was funny.
Uh, Blunder in a sense, like, so I'm an entrepreneur, right? So there was one artist I don't want to name, and while he was about to shoot a music video, and we set a date to shoot in Miami, let's say April such and such a date. And then I got everything situated. April 15 comes, nowhere to be found, not reachable. April 22, not reachable. 29, not reachable. And his whole team is calling me, hey, did you hear from him? I said, you guys are his manager. Why are you asking me? And then 2 weeks later, we found that he was locked up in a jail. Right? And then here we are, we'd finished the project, the guy is not doing, and the Indian parents would not settle, right? They would not take that. So how do we contact this guy? Can we get to the jail and call the guy in the jail so he can even promote? And so all the things that we did to get to the guy in the jail, those were very hilarious.
Did it work though? Did you oh, excuse me. Did it work? Were you able to contact them in the jail?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So you got to contact the local guys who know somebody to access to the jail, and so you got to go through the street level, the next level, and then they have some inroads into that guy, and then the guy picks up the call only when that guy calls. So you got to go through 3-4 people, so you don't give up, and so you just because you produce the song, you want to release the song, the artist guy is gone. And we don't know when he's going to come out. And that's one. And second thing, I did not even know what a street cred was, right? And I said, what is street cred? Okay, do I go to Kroger and buy half pound and come back? And so, guys, give me some street cred. You know what I mean? So like this, right, Jobs, every step of the way you learn, because this is not something I know. How am I supposed to know? A guy worked at Chrysler and a guy entrepreneur, tech entrepreneur. How am I supposed to know these things? You only know by doing and being with people.
What's next up?
What's next up? Obviously, I'm working on helping my son in his journey. So I'm doing whatever I can, assist him, so so he can go to the destination he wants to. I have a film that I put out. I have to digitally release, and then I'm still working on other ideas and keep it going. Once you're an entrepreneur, you're always an entrepreneur. Once you start riding a tiger, you cannot get off the tiger. And if you get off the tiger, you will get killed. So you're better off being on the tiger.
That doesn't sound very healthy.
So if you look at most of the entrepreneurs, they keep on working until they die.
Yeah. Because it's not the success. It's the journey.
Yes. It's not about money. It's about, that's what keeps them going. Some people go to bar, get drunk. Some people smoke weed. Some entrepreneurs, this is the equivalent of having a weed by doing more things that keeps them excited, because they got to do something, right? Take a problem, solve a problem, take it to the finish line, boom, then you're done, go to the next one. I mean, otherwise you don't have anything else to look forward to.
How many businesses do you own?
1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5.
You lost count, huh?
Yes.
That's
I would say 6.
not a bad problem to have, though.
Yeah.
Okay, so Kaiba Music. Is your son signed to Kaiba Music?
Yeah, he has his own label, but yeah, Kaiba Music is a label. Kaiba Films is one, the main company, Kaiba. And then
I'm sorry, go ahead.
and then I have multiple other businesses, and the main mothership is Kaiba. But, I have several other, things. So basically, I'm a serial entrepreneur, right, Jobs. I take a concept and take it to different areas, and I keep on replicating and duplicating. And in the process, I learn a lot. And then also it keeps me energized, because to me, it is a mental workout.
Where'd you get the name Kaiba from?
Actually, I got it from my son. And I got it. It came by accident, right? So it's actually a Japanese trading game. So at one time, as I said, when I started, I had 3 companies jobs, and 3 companies. It became so confusing. I ended up getting 3 different business cards. Back in the days, remember, we used to give business card and folder and this and that. And I got to say, okay, which card I gave it to who and whatnot. It became so confusing. And we have 3 different locations. I wanted to come up with a consolidated branding and whatnot. And I gave some money to a retainer, to a marketing company, to come up with some name. And I told them, hey, come to me like some Google, some Twitter, catchy one word, not like this long name. And they came back, and none of them were grabbing my attention. So I just go there and home, and then I just dropped my bag, and then I told my son, hey, Ash, can you come up with some names? Throw me some names. And then he came running, like a card. I said, Dad, you should call this Kaiba. I said, what the heck is Kaiba, man? And then he said, this is one card. You can almost trump anybody, not our Trump, but the Trump that, you can win a card. And the character is called Kaiba. It's actually Kaiba. And he said, Dad, by the way, don't call it exactly like that, but have a flavor of it. And he was only 9 years old at the time. And then I took, okay, so I'm not going to call exactly that. And at that time, I think it was 2008 or 9, Obama was running for a campaign. And then it had, yes, we can. And so that's what I did. And so it's, Kaiba came about, yes.
Was the recession, what was that, back in 2007, 2008? I may be off a year or 2.
Yeah.
How hard was that for you, business-wise?
It was very hard. It was very hard. It was, we were hit through everything, and Chrysler went into bankruptcy, and Detroit went into bankruptcy in that time, and we got out of it. Yes.
So you end up being more diversified thereafter, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Initially, you were more focused on the auto industry.
Yes.
Okay. Um, what was it about the recession and diversifying that propelled you to greater success?
Adversity, setbacks.
Wow. What other setbacks have you had over the years?
Uh, so the setbacks I have is really, is really going through the ups and downs of the economy.
Mhm.
And then when your main customer also went through bankruptcy, then you also go through, the same pains that they do.
Oh, that's got to be a tough conversation when you come home.
Yeah.
Oh my God. How close were you to bankruptcy?
No, we were not closer to bankruptcy. The customers, yeah, so that, it took us to the edge. Yeah.
Okay. What is Kaiba Wellness? What is that? What is that?
It's a startup I have not started yet,
Hmm.
but it's to focus on bringing wellness to the human being. It's really using plant-based supplements and things of that nature.
Wow, what you waiting on with that?
Yeah. So maybe, on a different day we can even dive specifically onto that, because I can talk about an hour on that topic alone. Yeah.
Well, given that I've already had a whole heart attack and heart surgery, I'd like to hear what would be a good natural substance for me to ingest to clear my arteries.
Obviously deep breathing is necessary.
Hmm.
I drink hot water every day instead of cold water.
Really? Like
uh,
like like literally hot water
Hot
or just
water, yeah,
lukewarm?
yeah. Hmm. And then going with plant-based food would be good. Avoid all the oil, avoid all the salt, sugar, and flour.
Oh, I don't think I've heard about the flour.
Yeah.
Why hot water?
To me, I mean, there is no scientific data, but it really improves your digestion. It improves your energy level. And I'm only sharing what I do. So,
Mm,
I'm not a doctor, so take it with a grain of salt.
I've never heard anybody say they drink hot water. I'm gonna have to try that
Yes.
because I'm 53. I'm not sure how old you are, but I look 70 years older than you. So whatever you're doing, I need to duplicate it. I'm sorry. I'm just getting over the flu.
Got it.
Thanks to my granddaughter. Love you, Harley, but you got Papa
Yeah.
sick. Do you have grandkids?
No, I don't.
You just have the one son?
Yes.
Okay. Wow, just the one kid, huh?
Yes.
Oh man, that saves a lot of money. What type of doctor is your wife, if you don't mind me asking?
Infectious disease.
That's phenomenal. That is a really, really, really good profession. Okay, philanthropy. What is your favorite area to give back to?
Education and on-the-job training.
Do you do internships?
Yeah, not internship, like, yeah, we do some internship, but mostly giving back on education and on-the-job training to people. Yes.
If
both
someone
here in the U.S. and in India.
if somebody wants to apply, how do they go about doing that?
Yeah, I mean, right now with so many things going on, so that part is not active yet. As
Hmm.
soon as it becomes active, I'll let you know. And I don't want it to, say something that is not active. So because I'm traveling a lot, so
Hmm.
I'm not spending a lot of time on the that part of the Kaiba Kids Foundation.
The new administration, do you think they would be helpful or harmful for business?
Some parts they will be helpful, and some parts they'll be harmful.
Yeah, I think for us little guys, it's going to be horrible.
Yeah,
But if you've got some money, you're going to have a lot of money in a few years.
yeah,
Yeah, and it's the gap between those that have and
yeah.
those that don't is probably going to
Yeah.
exacerbate more than any other
Got
time
it. Got it.
in this country. What do you love the most about Detroit?
No, it's a resilience. It's a resilient city, and I love. That's what I like the most. So
What's the
that city is. I'm synonymous with Detroit in that sense. It's very resilient because Detroit was written off and it has come back. Same
yes,
thing.
yes.
Same thing.
What surprised you the most about Detroit? Like matter of fact, I'm sorry. Before you came over here, what was the perception of major cities in the U.S.?
Violent murder rates were high. That's the perception. You people have outside.
Was that a fair assessment or was that really overblown?
Some of which are overblown.
Okay. Um, is there violence in India?
Not to this extent.
So you don't hear about shootings and
No, no shooting. Very
really
rarely because they don't allow guns.
no guns anywhere.
Yeah. You got to use knife to kill people.
Oh my, that's a brutal way to have to do it.
I know, but I'm just saying.
Jesus Christ. Um, and I'm absolutely certain they've got crime. Everybody's
Yeah.
got crime.
Yeah.
It's just, I guess things are resolved in a more peaceful manner. What what advice your son comes to you and just wants life advice about choosing a wife? What's your biggest advice?
Uh, Biggest advice is start soon and try soon because time is limited and don't waste time and don't overthink. Just do it.
Don't overthink finding a wife.
No, not. I mean, you already know what you want, and so overthinking ain't gonna. You just yeah, you just cycling same thing.
That's a good point. Best advice somebody. Oh, I think I already asked you. Well, I didn't ask you that, but you told me Frank gave you some really, really, really good advice. Okay. How did you meet your wife?
Arranged marriage back in the days. Yeah,
Are
yeah.
you gonna, is that a preference still to this day?
Uh, yeah, it is still there, but it's lately changing, and they're all following the Western society, like dating and all that. Yeah,
Is that a good idea?
it depends. It both has pros and cons.
Because you guys don't have a real divorce rate, do you?
Much less.
Yeah, I think looking at marriage from the business aspect first makes a lot more sense. If you can like a person and you can do business with that person, you can love that person after enough time.
Yes.
Um, do you plan on selling your businesses at any point?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think once I get to a point, I have to focus on existing, exit strategy and go from there. Yeah.
When do you want to retire, or do you?
No, I don't think I'll, as I said, I'm going to keep doing it because I enjoy it.
So at no point you want to just travel the world, get a yacht, and
That I do that. That I do that.
must be nice. Most beautiful place you've been?
Austria.
Really?
Yeah.
What was it about Austria?
I've been to the Alps mountain, this and that. It was very magnificent. Yeah.
Did you ski?
No.
If anybody else wants to contact you, how do they go about doing that? Just if they
They
want
can
some
Google
advice or
me,
anything like that.
Google me, DM me on Instagram, Twitter. I think I'm everywhere.
I think you are LinkedIn.
Yeah,
Um,
LinkedIn.
and I think it was one
Yeah,
other
yeah.
one that I saw too. Let me make sure. This has been a phenomenal conversation, first and foremost. I want to
Yes.
tell you, I definitely appreciate you coming on. And I know you got a lot of things. And make sure y'all go check out Trap City too, by the way.
Yes.
What other movies you got that we can promote real quick?
It's only got Trap City.
Okay.
It's gonna come out on digital in a month or so, and we can put a shout out at the time. And I
Okay.
can even come back for another interview jobs
Absolutely. You're welcome
and
whenever
get
you
back
want to
on
come back.
wellness and other thing.
Yeah, you are
Hmm?
welcome
All right.
whenever you like to come back. I'm gonna let you go. I know you got a lot of things to do. A busy man. I truly, truly, truly appreciate your time, wisdom, and energy, and you have a phenomenal day on purpose.
Thank you so much, and I'll talk soon. Thanks
Have
for
a
your
good one.
time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yo, that was a very interesting conversation. Tell Ganesan. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Yo, we next week we got an interesting one. We got Trick, who rarely does interviews, coming on at 7 o'clock, and let me make sure we got Ray Brown from the StockX legal team. I don't know if you rock with gym shoes in the slightest bit, but StockX is the business. I have purchased from them myself. This is Jobs. This has been another episode of Intellectually Petty Radio. Happy birthday to Rita, the dopest manager in the galaxy. You have a phenomenal one. I'm out. Peace.